Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the year, the football season. To some people, this is when the NFL really starts. It's kind of like the NBA, right? National Football League Wildcard round predictions. And before I go any further, Philadelphia and Kansas City have a bye week. They're in the divisional round. They got the first round bye. Anyway, we have two games on Saturday, three games on Sunday, and one game on Monday. So I'll get to the Saturday game, and then we'll go on and so forth. And this is in a row. This is the way it's going to go in a row, televised. So the first game Saturday afternoon is Seattle at San Francisco. And San Francisco is a 9.5-point favorite as of right now. Now, many can argue Seattle's lucky to be in here because Green Bay lost. Now, if you were to ask me at the beginning of the season, I'd say Seattle don't belong here at all. But you know what? Seattle does belong here because Geno Smith and what he's been able to do to that Seattle team, because I thought Seattle was going to be terrible this year. I think everybody else did too. But sometimes it just takes another team to get moved to for you to find your groove, and that's what happened to Geno Smith, so props to him. He has done very well in Seattle. Now he's going at San Francisco, and they're on a 10-game winning streak, and Brock Purdy is lighting it up, and they're just as good with him, if not better, than when Jimmy Garoppolo was in. And I think that's the 49ers' future, honestly. And they're at home, but 9.5 points. I'm going to take Seattle with that 9.5 points comfortably because I believe Seattle's going to go in there and put up a really good fight. Unfortunately, though, I don't think Seattle, for their fans, they're going to win because San Francisco is at home. It's going to be loud, and San Francisco is on a roll. They got a good defense. Brock Purdy, like I said, is playing excellent, and I have no reason to pick against the 49ers right now. Honestly, they're my favorite to go to the Super Bowl. And I know they're going to have to go through Philadelphia, and I think that's the only team that I can see giving them any trouble. I know people are going to say the Vikings and Cowboys, but we'll get to that in a minute. But Seattle, unfortunately, for you guys on the road. But I am going to take you with that 9.5 points. But it's going to be a 28-21, 28-24, something like that, 31-27, something in that vicinity. Seattle's going to cover. They're going to put up a good fight, but San Francisco is going to win. So take San Francisco. Los Angeles Chargers. This is the second game at the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Chargers are a 2-point favorite on the road. Jacksonville's underdog at home. And they're one of two road teams favored. And Jacksonville and Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, both their first playoff games, and they're both facing each other. Inexperienced, but this is going to be a tough decision because if you go by the analytics, this is literally a 50-50 chance. But I'll tell you what, Jacksonville's young. Both these teams are young. I don't think either one of these teams are going to do anything, but I will say out of the two, I think both these teams could be dangerous because I think they could be sleepers. People are going to overlook them, and whoever wins this game but I like Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, I made a video congratulating the Jaguars. I think he's doing really well. I think he's starting to find his groove in Jacksonville. They had a hell of a turnaround in the season, but they're taking on Justin Herbert and the Chargers, who I think at this moment in time, I believe the Chargers are a better team. Slightly. But like I said, the lack of inexperience, this could go either way. But I am taking the Chargers on the road, and I think they're going to beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going to get beat. Like I said, Trevor Lawrence is a fine young quarterback, and I think he's finding his groove. But let's be honest, they were lucky to beat Tennessee last week. And the Chargers are just looking really good. So I like the Chargers on the road to win this game outright. Close game again, like 23-20, Chargers. Now we're into Sunday. 3 games. Buffalo Bills, 13-point favorite at home. This is the biggest line in the playoffs against Miami. Well, unfortunately for Miami, they are the result of injuries or what can happen when people get injured. They're the victims of that. I believe if Tua was playing in this game, I think Miami would have a really good chance. But without Tua, they ain't got a shot. Skylar Thompson, whatever, like in his, second or third start. Don't even know who the guy is. Never even heard of him until last week. They're at Buffalo. By the way, DeMar Hamlin, I'm glad you're out of the hospital and doing good. Buffalo's at home. That stadium's going to be rocking. It's going to be loud. And they're going to do it for DeMar. And unfortunately for Miami, I don't see them covering that 13 points. I really don't. I think Buffalo's going to win this pretty easily. We're looking at a 31-13, 31-17, 38-14 game. I think it's going to be ugly. Again, and that's only because of injuries. Because if Miami was healthy, I think they would put up a really good fight. I think Miami still will put up a good fight, but it's going to be the lack of inexperience. And Buffalo's just on a roll. And Josh Allen, I can't go against them. They're going to beat the Dolphins. The Minnesota Vikings, 3-point favorite at home against the Giants. I'm telling you right now, I think the Giants are a sleeper. They played Minnesota tough the last time they played, even though they didn't win, but they played them really tough. They're playing them again. And Minnesota, I am not a Vikings hater at all. I like to see them do good. They're my local team up here, obviously. I know I'm not a fan, but that's the team I get to see 16 games a year if I wanted to up here. There's just something about the Vikings I just don't trust. I don't know what it is, but it just seems like it's kind of like Dallas. Like every time they get into the big stage, Minnesota beats themselves in most cases. Let's just put it that way. It seems like when Minnesota does lose, they lose pretty hard. I mean, let's be honest about it. I think half the wins Minnesota did get this year were lucky. I mean, come on, that 33-0 comeback against the Colts was once in a lifetime chance. But Kirk Cousins, I am going to give him his due because Kirk Cousins is playing phenomenal this season, and it's against the Giants. If this was in New York, I would take the Giants 100%. But it's in Minnesota, but the Giants are going to put up a really good fight. If the Vikings lose this game, in my opinion, it's going to be because the Vikings beat themselves. And Daniel Jones, the Giants are a good team. I think they got a year or two to go. They're right there, though. They got a good head coach. And see, Daniel Jones, though, I'm just not sold on Daniel Jones, even though he hasn't been playing terrible. But you know what Daniel Jones is? He's like an Andy Dalton 2.0. That's what I think. I mean, of course, we haven't seen him in the playoffs yet, so we can't really judge yet. But I think the Vikings are going to get the win at home. If the Giants win, would it surprise me? No. But I think Vikings at home will get the win over the Giants simply because of the lack of inexperience from Daniel Jones. But they're going to keep it close. Like 24-17 within a touchdown. I like the Vikings, but the Giants are going to keep it close. Now my game at Cincinnati, they're an 8-point favorite over the Ravens. Well, even though the Bengals won last week, I was not impressed with them at all. I mean, come on. They put up 3 points and a half against a third-string quarterback. I mean, in Anthony Brown or whatever. I don't know, man. I told you guys, I love my Bengals, don't get me wrong. But half their wins have been really rocky. But they're getting the win, so I can't bitch. But I'm eerie with them right now. The Baltimore Ravens are going to, whether Lamar Jackson comes back or Tyler Huntley, whoever, I believe that Baltimore is going to cover this 8-point spread. And they're going to give Cincinnati a run for their money, but Cincinnati has to play all 4 quarters in this game. They have to. I understand last week they probably had a lot in their mind with DeMar Hamlin and stuff like that, but come on, still no excuse. You only put up 3 points against a third-string quarterback in one half. I mean, give me a break. But the Bengals are at home. They should win this game. If Lamar Jackson's playing, this is going to be tight, really tight. The Ravens actually have a really good chance to beat the Bengals because they could easily be a sleeper. And John Harbaugh is is a great coach. So I'm going to take Baltimore definitely with that 8 points. I like the Bengals to win, but they got to play all 4 quarters. That's the only way they're going to win. If they do what they've been doing, they're not going to win this game. I don't care who's at quarterback. So take the Ravens with the points, Bengals win. And finally, Monday Nighter, Dallas 2.5-point favorite at Tampa Bay. Well, here's the problem with Dallas. Okay, the last couple times, first of all, that Dallas has played Tampa Bay, it's been neck and neck, and they've lost both times. Dallas could easily, well, not easily, but Dallas has an opportunity. They finally put the nail in Tom Brady's career? Excuse me. They could. The problem is, Dallas fans, you know as well as I do, this is the Cowboys in the playoffs. They just got their asses handed to them by the Commanders. So if they can't beat the Commanders with a nobody at quarterback, how am I going to pick them in the playoffs against the best quarterback in the world? I just don't trust Dallas. I don't. I'm sorry, Cowboy fans. I want them to win. Trust me. I told you, my mom's a diehard Cowboys fan. And they are my second favorite team if I had to choose another team. But this is Dallas in the playoffs. And we've seen this over the last few years. Now, they could have turned the leaf. But this is my lock of the week. This is my upset. I like Tampa Bay in this game, to tell you the truth. I like Tampa Bay outright. Dallas has given me no reason to pick them in the playoffs right now. They've just given me no reason. Anybody, I mean, yeah, you can be good in the regular season, but if you stink it up in the playoffs, what's the point? I mean, look at the Bengals. They were good for, 5 years in a row, but they stunk it up in the playoffs. I hope the Cowboys win, but Tom Brady in the playoffs, and he can get hot at any time. Tom Brady is still Tom Brady. I like Tom Brady and the Bucs outright. Not saying they're going to go all the way, far from it, but I think they're going to beat the Cowboys, honestly. So, just to recap, Niners over Seahawks, Chargers over Jaguars, Bills over Dolphins, Vikings over Giants, barely, very slim. Bengals over Ravens, and Bucs over Cowboys. There's your picks, people. If your team's in the playoffs, best of luck. And let's just see what happens. Like I said, fun time of football. So take care, guys.